Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. Oh my goodness, I am so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening on your morning commute, during your lunch break, or right before bed, welcome. You picked a great time to learn some English.
Hey there, everyone. Great to have you back. I was thinking this morning while I was making breakfast. We talk about our daily routines all the time, every single day. But do we actually know how to describe them well in English?
That is such a good point. And honestly, when I first started thinking about this topic, I realized how many expressions and phrases I use automatically without even thinking about them. Like, I just say them. But for someone learning English, those phrases can feel really tricky.
Exactly. So today we are going to fix that. Our topic is talking about your daily routine in English. We're going to cover the vocabulary, the phrases, the grammar structures, and the natural expressions that real people actually use when they describe their day.
And by the end of this episode, you'll be able to describe your own daily routine confidently and naturally. You'll know how to talk about morning habits, work and school schedules, evening wind-down routines, all of it, in real, natural English.
Before we jump in, we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what time do you usually wake up? Are you an early bird or a night owl? Drop your answer below. We love reading every single one of your comments.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Simple English Talks right now. Hit that button so you never miss a new episode. We're here every week with fresh topics and friendly conversation. We don't want you to miss a thing.
All right, let's start the day. Here we go.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning, the morning. Because honestly, how you describe your morning routine tells you a lot about how well you can talk about daily life in English. And the key structure here is beautifully simple. It's subject plus verb plus time expression. I wake up at 7. She has breakfast at 8. We leave the house at 8:30. Simple, right? But the vocabulary inside that structure is really important. So let's go through the most essential morning verbs. You wake up, you get up, you have a shower, or take a shower, both are fine. You get dressed, you have breakfast, you brush your teeth, you leave the house. Now, I want to point out something really useful here. Wake up and get up are not the same thing. Wake up means your eyes open. You stop sleeping. Get up means you actually move your body out of the bed. And for many of us, there's a big gap between those two moments, right?
Oh, absolutely. I wake up at 6:30, and then I get up at maybe 6:50 after I check my phone and lie there pretending I'm not tired.
That is so honest. So I woke up, but I didn't get up for another 20 minutes. Great distinction. And here's another one. Have a shower versus take a shower. In British English, people usually say have a shower. In American English, they say take a shower. Both are totally correct, so just pick the one that feels natural to you.
Now let's look at how to talk about routines using time expressions. These little words and phrases are what make your sentences sound really natural. I usually wake up early. I always have coffee first thing in the morning. I never skip breakfast. I sometimes go for a walk before work.
The words usually, always, never, sometimes, often, and rarely are called adverbs of frequency. They go between the subject and the verb in most sentences. I always drink coffee. Not I drink always coffee. The position matters. Here's a quick practice for you. Can you say 3 sentences about your own morning using adverbs of frequency? Try it out loud right now. For example, I always make my bed. I sometimes skip breakfast. I never exercise in the morning. Go ahead and say yours. And here's a really natural phrase that people use a lot. First thing in the morning. It just means the very first thing you do after waking up. First thing in the morning, I check my messages. First thing in the morning, I drink a big glass of water. It sounds very natural and conversational.
You can also say the moment I wake up for emphasis. The moment I wake up, I need coffee. I can't function without it. That's a very real sentence that I say about myself, by the way.
And one more great phrase, part of my routine. It's part of my morning routine to meditate. Checking the news is part of my routine. This phrase is perfect when you want to explain a habit that's regular and important to you. So to sum up this section, use subject plus verb plus time expression for the basic structure. Know the difference between wake up and get up. Use adverbs of frequency like always, usually, sometimes, and never. And use natural phrases like first thing in the morning and part of my routine. Beautiful foundation. All right, the morning is handled. Now let's move into the daytime. Work, school, errands, everything that fills up the middle part of the day. And there are some really specific phrases that native speakers use that make conversations about this part of the day sound very natural.
One of the most common structures for talking about daily obligations is I have to, or I've got to. I have to be at work by 9. I've got to drop the kids off at school. I have to attend a meeting at 11. These show that something is necessary. It's part of the schedule.
And then there's I get to, which is the opposite feeling. I have to sounds like an obligation, something you must do. I get to sounds like a privilege, something you're lucky to do. I get to work from home on Fridays. I get to have a long lunch break. Can you hear the difference in feeling there? That's such a great distinction, and it's one that a lot of learners don't know. I have to go to work. A bit of a sigh. I get to go to a conference in a cool city. Exciting. Same grammar structure, completely different emotional tone. Quick practice activity. Tell me in the comments, are you a creature of habit, or do you like to mix things up? Describe your workday or school day in 2 or 3 sentences using phrases from this section. I tend to, I have to, I get to. Use them. Let's also talk about expressions around breaks and transitions during the day. I take a break around 3. I grab a quick lunch. I squeeze in a workout at lunchtime. I pop out for coffee. These little verbs, grab, squeeze in, pop out, make your English sound supernatural. Squeeze in is a great one. It means to fit something into a busy schedule. I squeezed in a 20-minute walk between meetings. She squeezed in a phone call during her commute. It gives the feeling of your day being full, but you still manage to fit something in. Great! So for the daytime, use have to for obligations, get to for things you're lucky to do, tend to for habits, and dynamic verbs like grab, squeeze in, and pop out to sound natural and conversational. You've got this. Okay, we've made it to the end of the day. The evening routine. And honestly, this is where some of the most interesting vocabulary lives, because people talk about their evenings in a very specific and emotional way. Evenings are personal. They're about relaxing, connecting, recharging. The phrase you'll hear most often for the end of the workday is knock off or finish up. I usually knock off at 5. I try to finish up by 6. Knock off is informal and very natural. It means to stop working for the day. You'll hear it a lot. And then the beautiful phrase, wind down. I like to wind down in the evening by reading. I need at least an hour to wind down before bed. Wind down means to gradually relax, to slow your body and mind after a busy day. It's such a lovely expression. The opposite of winding down is rushing around. And most of us do that in the evening too, let's be honest. I spend the first hour after work rushing around, cooking, tidying up, helping the kids with homework. Rushing around means moving quickly from task to task, staying busy. Here's a really common sentence structure for evenings. After I get home, I usually change my clothes and make dinner. After I get home, I tend to sit quietly for a bit before I do anything else. The after I structure is so useful for describing sequence and routine.
And speaking of sequence, evening conversations are full of phrases that show order. First, I cook dinner, then we eat together, and after that, I usually watch something. Once the kids are in bed, I finally get some time to myself. By the time I've done everything, it's already 9 o'clock.
By the time is a phrase a lot of learners find tricky, but it's really common in routines. By the time I finish dinner, it's 7:30. By the time I get home on Mondays, I'm completely exhausted. It means when a certain moment arrives, something else has already happened. Let's do some interactive practice. I'm going to describe my evening, and you pause and describe yours out loud after each sentence. Ready? After work, I usually make a simple dinner. Now you say yours. Then I sit on the sofa and watch something for about an hour. Now yours. By 10 o'clock, I'm usually in bed. And yours.
That kind of speaking practice is so powerful. You're not just listening passively, you're producing English, and that's where real fluency lives.
A few more lovely evening expressions. Call it a night means to stop for the evening and go to sleep. I was tired by 9, so I just called it a night. Hit the hay and hit the sack are informal ways to say go to bed. I was exhausted, so I hit the hay around 10. And sleep like a log means to sleep very deeply. I was so tired, I slept like a log.
These idiomatic expressions make your English come alive. When you use them naturally, people notice. So practice them, use them, make them yours. This section covered evening vocabulary really well. Knock off, wind down, rush around, call it a night, hit the hay, sleep like a log. All real, all useful, all very English.
All right, it's mistake time. And I want to say something important before we begin. Every single mistake in this section is one that even advanced learners make. So if you recognize yourself in any of these, that's completely normal. It just means you're learning.
Mistake number 1, and this is super common. Learners say, every day I am waking up at 7. But in English, we don't use the present continuous for routines. We use the simple present. Every day I wake up at 7. Not I am waking up. The present continuous is for things happening right now, in this moment. Routines use simple present.
So the rule is simple present for habits and routines. I wake up, I go to work, I eat dinner, I go to bed. Not I am waking up, I am going to work. That sounds like you're describing what you're doing at this exact second, not your daily routine.
Mistake number 2, mixing up in the morning and at morning. In English, we say in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, but at night, not in the night for the general sense of nighttime. I study in the evening. I go for walks at night. Learn those prepositions and they'll become automatic quickly.
Mistake number 3. This one makes me smile because I understand why it happens. Learners say, I do my routine every morning. But do my routine sounds a bit robotic. Native speakers say, I follow my routine. Or more naturally, they just describe it. Every morning, I wake up, shower, and have coffee. Just describe the actions. You don't have to say, do my routine.
And mistake number 4, saying, I go to sleep very lately. The word is late, not lately. Lately means recently. I've been tired lately. Late refers to time. I went to bed late last night. Completely different meanings. I go to sleep very late is correct. Make sure you know the difference. One more, saying, I make exercise every morning. In English, you don't make exercise. You do exercise. Go to the gym or work out. I work out every morning.
I do some exercise after work. Make and do are tricky in English because many languages use one equivalent word for both. In English, do exercise, not make exercise. These mistakes are so fixable. Practice the correct versions out loud right now. I wake up at 7. I study in the evening. I go to bed late. I work out in the morning. Say them until they feel natural. That's how they stick.
Okay, practice time. This is one of my favorite parts of every episode. Let's do the choose the correct sentence activity. 2 options. One is natural English, one has a mistake. You choose, and you say your answer out loud. Here we go.
Situation 1. Option A. Every morning I am having breakfast at 8. Option B. Every morning I have breakfast at 8. Which one is correct?
Option B. Every morning I have breakfast at 8. Simple present for routines. Remember that one.
Situation 2. Option A. I usually go for a walk in the night. Option B. I usually go for a walk at night. Which sounds more natural?
Option B again. At night, not in the night. At night is the correct phrase for that general evening nighttime period. Situation 3. Option A. I tend to finish work around 6. Option B. I tend finishing work around 6. Which is correct? Option A. I tend to finish. After tend to, you always use the base form of the verb. Tend to finish, not tend finishing. Situation 4. Option A. By the time I get home, I'm already tired. Option B. Until the time I get home, I'm already tired. Which one? Option A. By the time is the correct phrase. Until the time is not a natural English expression. By the time I get home, I'm already tired. Perfect. Now, here's your challenge. Write your complete daily routine in the comments using at least 5 phrases from today's episode. Morning, afternoon, and evening. Go all the way through your day. We genuinely look forward to reading what you write. And speak it out loud, too. Describe your day out loud like you're telling a friend. That speaking practice, even alone, makes an enormous difference to your fluency.
Real English isn't about perfect grammar. It's about communicating clearly and naturally. So use the phrases, make some mistakes, correct them, and keep going. That's the whole game.
Conclusion and wrap-up. What an episode! I feel like we really covered so much ground today, and I'm genuinely proud of everyone who stayed with us all the way through. That takes commitment, and commitment is what makes the difference in language learning. Let's recap the 3 big areas we covered today. Number 1, morning routine vocabulary and structure. We talked about wake up versus get up, adverbs of frequency, and phrases like first thing in the morning and part of my routine. Number 2, daytime and work routines. We covered have to versus get to, tend to, squeeze in, and the difference between formal and informal ways to describe your day. And number 3, evening vocabulary. We explored wind down, knock off, call it a night, hit the hay, and sleep like a log. You now have a full, rich vocabulary for describing your daily life in English. And that matters so much because talking about your day is one of the most common things you'll ever do in conversation. First dates, job interviews, catching up with friends, it always comes up. And now, you're ready. Here's something to think about before you close this episode. What's one part of your daily routine that you've never described in English before? Maybe your commute, maybe your lunch ritual, maybe your bedtime habits. Think about it. Find the words. And if you want to share it, we're right here in the comments. Please give this episode a like if it helped you today. It genuinely supports what we do here at Simple English Talks. Share it with a friend or classmate who's learning English. And subscribe if you haven't already, so you're always the first to get a new episode. You are doing something really valuable by learning English. Every episode you listen to, every phrase you practice, every comment you write, it all adds up. Don't stop. Don't give up. And never forget that progress is happening even when you can't see it. We are rooting for you every single step of the way. Keep going, keep practicing, and keep showing up for yourself. Thank you so much for being part of Simple English Talks. It's always a pleasure. Until next time. See you next time.